Welcome back to the channel. Today what I'm going to be talking about is the deadlift, the Ronnie Coleman lift. And it happens to be one of the most overrated exercises for bodybuilding. Note that I said for bodybuilding. To build strength in your hamstrings, your lower back, your traps, is an excellent exercise for building strength. Now, this exercise have been developed for, believe it or not, hundreds of years. Warriors of past used it to show and demonstrate the amount of strength that they had against other warriors. Now, we pretty much use the deadlift for the same thing. And the thing that I wanted to talk about is that this exercise can be used for bodybuilding, and you have to really increase the amount of reps in order to get the hypertrophy that's needed to break a muscle down and build it back up. If you are using, 2, 3, 4 reps, you're only strengthening your tendons, and your muscles, as you can see from powerlifters, are really not getting a lot of work done. Just your tendons are, because they lack that fullness that bodybuilders have, even though they're all taking gear. Now, what I wanted to talk about in specific about the deadlift is the way you have one hand forward and one hand backwards, meaning that one of your hands is turned this way to hold the bar, and the other hand is turned that way. That right there is a technique that was developed to keep the bar from rolling out of your hand. Now, using that particular technique, it will make your shoulders lopsided, simply because of the way stress is being distributed over your shoulders as you're lifting the weight. So from time to time, you have to keep switching your hands around just to keep your shoulders and everything balanced. The traps and all of that stuff that's pulling on that stuff balanced. Now, overhand, the bar normally, pushes your hand apart at heavier weights. So you can't use that particular exercise without straps. Now, again, a lot of old schoolers are always talking about hand strength and things like that, talking about the roughness of the hand, but we're talking about bodybuilding. We're talking about beauty pageant stuff. We're talking about looking good. Now, I don't know of no woman that want a man with hands that feel like sandpaper rubbing on their legs. So that right there might be a consideration when you're talking about not using straps and stuff like that to hold the bar, because your hand strength, a lot of them old timers won't tell you, but they end up with arthritis in the hands as they get older, and they're not able to hold things, a coffee cup, stuff like that. At some point they'll have tendonitis and they'll end up dropping cups and just losing all types of grip within their hand muscles, because they done wore the hand muscles out, because your hand muscles are not designed to carry that kind of weight. So that's another thing you want to consider. Consider the rough hands. Consider the fact that you may lose the strength in your hands as you get older, because you wear your hands out with such heavy weight that your hands are not designed to be up under for a long period of time. So if you are powerlifting, working out like that, you have to consider you're going to be doing it for a long time. And if you can have somebody as simple as a secretary end up with tendonitis and they can't hardly hold on to grip things from all the typing and stuff like that they do, just imagine you sitting up with 400 and 500 pounds in your hand trying to lift heavier and heavier weights. Your hands, you're just going to demolish them. So again, if you're trying out bodybuilding, you're trying to build the body up, being natural, the best thing for you to do is consistency. That's a very, very important part of being natural. You got to be very consistent. You got to keep those muscles inflated so that they will always have nutrients to grow. Not necessarily a whole lot of food. You know, 3 meals a day is, again, like I've said earlier, is enough. Because you don't want to get your body fat too high when you're trying to develop your body. You want to kind of stay in that slim mode all the time. You can still build muscle like that, but you got to be consistent. You got to eat regular, and you got to rest. The downside of being natural, at some point you're going to reach a spot in which you stop growing. Don't let them fool you with the different gimmicks and pills and shakes and all this other kind of stuff. Once you reach your genetic potential, that's it. The only way you can break through a plateau is that you have to use some type of drug, because you know we all as natural people have a limit, and once you reach that, that's it. But it's a healthier lifestyle. The muscle that you develop is what you keep. Once you start using drugs, you have to continue to use the drug. No matter what they tell you, you do not keep any of the muscle that you have using drugs. You don't keep none of it. All of it is going to disappear. There's no bodybuilder that not a pro anymore that's retired look the same way. A lot of them don't even look like they really lift a whole lot. And please don't say Jay Cutler, because Jay Cutler is still using. He's just not using as much. Phil Heath is still using. He's just not using as much. Once they stop or they start using actual TRT doses, they're gonna shrink. They're gonna look like they haven't lift weights. Most of them really don't lift weights as much, but even if they do, they're gonna be no different than you. And you probably look a little bit better than they do, simply because the muscle that you got is real, and the muscle that they have or had is gone, and they're not gonna be able to really build it back up unless they use the TRT in excess. Anyway, that's what I want to talk to y'all about. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And again, I'll be talking to you later.